Okay, let's talk about the 248K mods arc furnaces, because they seem pretty good to me. And figured we should talk about how and what and also when, because that's part of it. But let's look at the how first. So what exactly is this stuff doing? It's not running because this is backed up, but whatever, we can still look at recipes and stuff. There's kind of a three-step ore treatment here. The last step is we get 100 copper into one plate, and the rates of these machines are such that these metal casters do 5 plates a second, so 3 of these dudes are a full yellow belt, so that's pretty nice. The step before that of getting the molten copper is these arc furnace things, which will do, yeah, 1,000 molten copper a second, so basically 10 plates a second. So this is actually more than I need for one belt, but whatever. One of these would not be enough for one belt. And the step before that of getting this pure copper, or also iron, various other metals as well, is this purification step, which does have the complication of putting in water and getting out dirty water, and then you need to purify that again. But it's the same amount going in and out, so there's some tricks you can do there. And the entire net result is that you still go from one ore to one plate, but you can do quite small builds that are inserter bottlenecked because this is so early in the run that we don't really have better tools for that, that just seem like a really concise way of being able to do things, which is nice. In terms of where we are in the run, if we look at the tech tree, I don't even have steel furnaces yet. These arc furnaces turn up on the way to automation 2. So we've got automation 2. Don't worry about the science cost. I'm running a 10 times multiplier in this run. It's fine. We've got the metal casting and the arc furnace and the ore purification, which you can't. Yeah, you're going through this tech path anyway because you want automation 2, if not to be able to automate things faster, but because you need it for fluid handling and oil processing. So you're going to get these techs, and I must say they're quite good. I have no idea what else the mod is going to throw at me, so it's unfair to say that they are good for the mod, but I think we can say they're quite good in comparison to vanilla, and that's also why, yeah, all of these inserters are stacked around it, because I don't have better tools. I don't have any stack insertion capacity bonus or anything like that. In fact, don't worry about this one at all. This is all just a bit of a disaster that we hacked together in the spaghetti towards bots. Follow me down to this section of the base, where I have editor mode hacked in a bunch of other things that might be slightly more organized examples of, yeah, this little setup here. Can I get into the middle of this more? Probably not, whatever. Yeah, this setup here is a whole red belt worth of copper smelting. So these metal casters that do 5 each, we've now got 6 of them. These arc furnaces that do 10 plates of throughput each, we've now got 3 of them. The 3 purifiers also, and then the blast purifier down the bottom that's working on converting the dirty water back to clean water, which can be used again. Let's actually go down there so we can see how that fluid network works, because one of the things that makes this quite good is this fluid network doesn't actually connect to anything else. Like, all the plain water is down this side, goes into the purifiers, comes out this side, this purifier is run the other way around, and then all these metal casters are offset so that this fluid output doesn't interfere with these pipes, and also because it was kind of a nice way of stacking that. They're also all sharing the molten copper. I was wondering whether there would be an issue with, like, these ones in between and this kind of middle metal caster getting stuff, and it's all kind of fine. I mean, this belt isn't full, but the reason it's not full is because I don't have the stack capacity bonus to properly empty these things yet, because we're just that early in the run. What other things to be? Yeah, and there's also why there are so many stack inserters over here that I probably won't need when I actually get to the point to be able to do this. The other thing to mention is, yeah, I have no idea how this is going to interact with beacons and this mod. This mod does something different with beacons that I just haven't got to yet, but even in this early stage of the game, seems like this is a pretty good pattern. And also, the only connection between the arc furnaces and the metal casters are these underground pipes here, so this entire section could be moved over to the right to put beacons down the middle if that was a thing that was going to happen. But yeah, so that's a pattern that I like, that I'm probably going to use more. The Also works exactly the same for iron, because of course it does, because these guys are just slightly different recipes that do slightly different things. But also because they're recipes, it means that someone so inclined could sushi this stuff together, and these purifiers would take off the belt the things they needed, because recipes, that's how recipes work. So again, yeah, this stuff is just building up because I don't have the inserters to remove it, but whatever, moving on. Yeah, the other thing why I think these guys are especially strong, actually, yeah, let's talk about the steel first. Normally steel is a little more difficult to build because you've got to smelt things twice, and you've got to get more fuel in, and I'm just going to get this guy out of the way so we can stand in the middle of this. Yeah, you've got to get more fuel in, you've got to either process a line of iron and then turn it into steel. In this case, the steel recipe also just uses molten iron, and uses it in a rate that is properly ratioed to the arc furnace. So this build here is an entire 2 belts of iron ore being processed into steel. I don't think I've got any inserter issues here, but maybe I do. So yeah, so that struck me as pretty strong, especially as... yeah, things about this that seem especially strong are, number one, it's all electrically powered. So you don't need to bring fuel in. Because of this loop here being sort of entirely self-sustaining with the dirty water, there are no other waste products. So this thing's just entirely self-sustained, and also in terms of electrical usage, really not that intense. So purifiers, 40 kilowatts each. Metal casters, 100 kilowatts each. I think this one kind of bounces around a bit because it's either producing or not. But these things are, with the 2 modules in, 160 kilowatts each. So 480 kilowatts for the 3 arc furnaces, and less than a megawatt with 6 efficiency modules to electrically process with no fuel and no waste products and no other inputs, 2 full belts of iron ore into steel. And if we look at the costs of these arc furnaces, they're also... all of these are pretty cheap. You need some steel, you need some cogs, but there's nothing that requires red circuits. Nothing that, even for the amount of throughput you get compared to electric furnaces, this is still pretty small. Bearing in mind that the amount of... let's run around this way. The number of electric furnaces you need to process 2 full belts of iron ore into steel is this much. So you're looking at basically 100 furnaces, each of which will hit you for 186 kilowatts. And if you want to efficiency module these, you're looking at about 200 efficiency modules. And yeah, just not as good. And also, you won't unlock these guys for a long while. Or at least not until Blue Science. If you've got a 10 times research multiplier like this one is, then that's a long while. Otherwise, in almost every other case, this little setup of steel looks like a much better thing to be doing. And this little setup over here of here's some iron ore. Yeah, these arc furnaces just seem to be doing a pretty great deal. They're like quite accessible, quite affordable. I like that they're a small pattern. I'm planning on doing a grid-based thing, so this is fine for me. Yeah, I think that's pretty much what we wanted to say today. We'll figure out beacons later, but whatever. These arc furnaces are quite good for the point at which they turn up in the 248K mod. And yeah, that's what we wanted to say today.